Comcast done let me down for the last time. And in this video, I ripped the Starlink off of my little camper van. I'm mounting it on my house with PoE power. And I connected it to my home network. Then set it up through Pfsense as a backup/failover internet solution. I already have Comcast/Xfinity for internet, and that's as good as it gets in my neighborhood. But sometimes, Comcast shits the bed, which wouldn't be a big deal if it weren't for the fact that I'm widowed and I live alone, but I still have 2 dogs. Now, they're my life, and they stay home all day in a fenced-in yard or the doggy door while I'm at work. But I'm not comfortable unless I can check on them at will, and I do that with my Frigate CCTV system. Comcast went out when I was at work the other day, and I couldn't check in. And here's what I decided to do. I already had the dish, and I only used it on about 2 camping trips a year. So I mounted it to my house. It isn't pretty. I just used some stuff I had on hand. And these are the joys of being a hillbilly home labber. I started up the $10 a month roam plan, and then set it to use bypass mode. I've got several options to power the Starlink Mini. One is to use the factory power brick and run 2 wires up there. But running 2 wires up there when PoE has been a thing for a long time now just smacks of Y2K to me. So I went looking on Amazon for a PoE kit. Of course I chose the cheapest one. And when I hooked it up, I got nothing. It was absolutely dead. Well, I had failed to look at the details of the product. This thing wants 48 volts. So I hooked it up to my lab power supply and hit it with 48 volts, and that thing came alive. Well, what do you know? That did the trick. Now let's try it on 30 volts like the factory power supply. Oop, and it works. We're in business. So I got this PoE splitter specifically for the Starlink Mini. They have these rubber things on them. PoE comes in this end, and the PoE splitter sends the data here and the power here. I bought a PoE injector. I have this cable that I made for running the Starlink Mini off a battery when I'm on road trips. I've got a gender changer for just such an occasion. This will go to the WAN 2 port on the Pfsense box, and this will go to the Starlink Mini. Okay, so now it's time to install the PoE splitter. Alright, so I want to stuff this down inside of there. I don't know if I can, but if I can, I got to get this plug out of here. I'm going to plug this in so it doesn't fall down the hole and watch that thing just roll away. I'll be right back. I gotta go get that gland that rolled away. Alright, so you gotta slip this collar over the cable first. Don't drop it down the tube. And you got this rubber piece that goes over, and it's got a little recess in it. That black rubber piece will slide up in these fingers if you don't bend any of them. You might have to open these up a little bit. There, that helped tremendously. And now, this part has a rubber O-ring on it that already slipped on there. Plug in the network cable. You lock this part on, and then you tighten this up. I never checked it. Oh, fits nicely. That's wonderful. Now, feed them up through the pole mount. Well, anyway, I'm plugging these back in here now. You probably won't be able to see it. Let's see which way this thing goes. There. And now everything is in there all waterproof. We can snap the pole mount back on. All right, let's go back to the lab and hook up the other end. Okay, so back here, I've got my network wire that's plugged into the WAN 2 port of my Tiny Beast firewall. And here is the wire that's coming from the Starlink. Back here is my Starlink power brick, and here's the power injector. Let's plug it all up. PoE here, LAN here. I got it tucked in here. I'll plug this in. I know it's a mess. Maybe I'll fix it someday. But I just keep adding more stuff and never cleaning anything up. Now let's go check Pfsense. I gave it a couple minutes to boot up, then I checked the Starlink app to make sure everything was good. First, we want to go to our Interfaces tab and then Assignments. Now we want to choose an unused Ethernet port. First, we're going to give it a name. I'm going to want all the same settings on here as I have on my primary WAN port. Don't forget to enable the interface. I did the first time. I set it up as DHCP so it can get an IP address. Now we'll click Save and then apply the changes. Then click on the System tab, go down to Routing, then Gateways, and add a gateway. First we have to choose the interface to use for our gateway. Then we'll give it a name. I just called it Starlink for ease of identification. We want to add an IP address for the gateway to monitor. This helps Pfsense determine when the link is down. Now let's save that, and then we'll apply the changes. Next we want to go to Firewall, Rules. I go to my primary WAN interface and select all the rules. Then hit the copy button. Now I want to paste all of those rules to my WAN 2 interface. Click Save, then we apply the changes. We go back to our System tab, then choose Routing, and we're going to create a gateway group. First we have to give it a name. I call mine Failover. After that we choose our primary and secondary WAN. Next we have to choose what triggers the switch over from the primary to the secondary. Now we'll save and then apply the changes. Now let's go back into our Gateways tab and choose our default gateway. I choose the gateway group we just created, then save and apply the changes. Back in the dashboard we can see our new Starlink gateway. For simplicity, I removed the IP6. Okay, everybody's happily doing their thing. And I'm going to reach over here and unplug the cable modem, and we'll see how long it takes for it to switch over. In interfaces, we can see the WAN go down. Okay, I can see the WAN has dropped out. Oop, and there it goes. It only took a few seconds for it to switch over to the Starlink. Now I'll check for connectivity first. My favorite website seems to be working. Let's see how well. Now we'll plug this back in and see how long it takes to pick it back up. Seems to take a little longer going this way. Okay. Interface has made the connection. Back in business. Wow, you're still here. Thanks for watching. And if you found anything entertaining or useful in this video, go ahead and smash that like button. And remember, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.